What's up, everybody? Welcome to Don't Give Up with Jacob. Today, I have a special guest joining me on my show. Not only that, but she is also a co author of the book We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnosis, where she wrote her own chapter known as The Scale Does Not Define Me. My value is not measured in pounds. So it is my pleasure to welcome to my show Gretchen Holmes.
Hey, it's so good to see you, Jacob. Thank you for having me on the show.
Anytime. I'm so glad you could be here today so we could have a nice conversation. And I read your chapter, and it was a wonderful chapter. And there's some questions that I have to ask you about this awesome chapter. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right. So to kick things off, in your chapter, The Scale Does Not Define Me, My Value is Not Measured in Pounds, you have also stated in the chapter that the scale doesn't tell your story.
True. True. It doesn't. Obesity is one of those health issues that everybody knows you have. And so the minute you walk out the door, people are making judgments about why you look like you do, right? And so the number on the scale basically only measures gravity, right? It doesn't tell my story that I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. It doesn't tell the story that I grew up in a very, very dysfunctional alcoholic home. It doesn't tell the story that my mom and dad and both brothers are gone. It doesn't tell the story that I have Sjogren's disease. It doesn't tell the story how many years I tried so hard to lose weight and I just couldn't make it happen. It doesn't. It also doesn't tell people how smart I am or how driven I am or what a good sister I was or daughter. All it does is measure gravity.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. So, what is the most important message you want people to remember from your story in this chapter?
So there's a couple of things that I think are really, really important. And one is that it doesn't matter how much you weigh or how tall you are or whatever is going on, that is not the whole part of who you are, right? So you have empathy, you might be super smart, maybe you're a really good friend, maybe you are really good at math. I mean, there's all these things. It's just one factor, right? But we are made up of all these different wonderful nuances who make us, right? And so that is just one teeny tiny little piece that maybe is objective, right? Because you can get on a scale and see how much you weigh. But what's much more important than that is understanding what is special about you, what makes you uniquely you. And it's not the number on the scale. Just like, I lost a whole bunch of weight. The number on the scale still doesn't tell my story. All it does is show how much I weigh. And I want people to understand that moving through the world with the only thing anybody pays attention to, including ourselves, is that number, is we are missing out on all the best parts of ourselves if we just focus on that. So I want people to feel really good about who they are, no matter what that scale says.
Yeah, I definitely agree. People should always feel good about themselves, no matter how they look, no matter how they weigh, or even what other people think about them. People should definitely love themselves and love everything about them that really makes them unique And I think that's a great message that you're trying to send to others about how to take care of themselves, especially for how they look, and to love how they are different in this world that we live in.
I agree. I agree. And I think that many of us have fallen into that trap of comparing ourselves to other people, right? And and if you think about it, there's always going to be people who are smarter, who are prettier, who are thinner, who are faster, who make more money, have a nicer house. And if we spend all of our time comparing ourselves to other people, well, then we don't really get to appreciate everything that we are. And because there's a lot of people who are looking up at you, Jacob, going, man, I wish I could do what he does. I wish I was as smart as Jacob is. I wish I could write a book. And so we forget that not only are we supposed to be living the life that we have, but others are looking at us going, oh, I wish I could do that. That's pretty awesome. So we got to be careful about that, because comparison really doesn't get us anywhere, except it usually makes us feel bad. And so we got to be careful about doing that all the time. Plus, if we're not our own best cheerleader, who's supposed to be?
Yeah, what a very true message. I mean, people should really cheer themselves on and be like, come on, you can do this. You got this. Don't let other people get the best of you. You are special in your own unique way. And if you don't tell yourself those things, then who will be there to cheer you on and say, you got this, you can do this, you are unique in your own special way? Like, who will be there for you otherwise?
Yeah, because if you think about it, Jacob, and I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever achieved anything when I was beating myself up. If I'm telling myself I can't do it and I'm not smart enough and I don't have the right skill set, I just can't do it. I'm not pretty enough or handsome enough. I have never achieved anything in my life when I was telling me myself that.
Yeah, like who would achieve anything if you keep beating yourself up and putting yourself down in the dumps? Like if you keep beating yourself up and telling you you're ugly, you can't do this, then how would you accomplish anything in life?
Yeah, it just makes me feel bad. It makes me want to stay home and sit on the couch and hide under a blanket. And I don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing. I think we're all supposed to be exploring the world and having all these wonderful experiences and getting to know people and having fun and laughing and crying and pushing ourselves. But then also we have to celebrate ourselves. I have a podcast as well, and I never thought I could do that. I thought that was the silliest thing I could have ever done. And I started reading a book about how to do a podcast. We figured it out, man, and I knew the first few times I did it, it probably wasn't going to be very good, but I got better at it. And so we can't just do stuff we know we're going to be really good at. We have to try new stuff. That's half of the fun, right? We're supposed to get out there and do new things.
That's right. What a great message. I definitely agree with all of that. Definitely agree with branching out. Definitely agree with trying new things, even if you're scared to do it for the first time. These are some great messages that you are delivering.
Thank you. Thank you.